Good evening, everybody. Good. You guys ready to get started? Yeah. Welcome to our office tonight. How many first-time guests do we have tonight? Raise your hand for me. All right, you're going to follow Shaquille to the back, okay? First-time guests, thank you so much for coming out. You guys follow the chat. All right. Yes, nice. Who has one? Oh, I have. All right, we're going to start with Shondell.
My name is Shondell, and I have a guest today. I called her earlier this week, and she is just open to other opportunities. She's been here now, I think, for about 4 years or so. She's living with her sister, and she just doesn't want to stay at home. She's looking for great opportunities. She's a young woman, and she's excited about the market.
Came back last week from Armenia, and I basically had contacted him the same day he came back into the country, and I said, hey, can you come out Thursday? And he said yes. He was actually coming last Thursday, got stuck in traffic, turned around, he said, hey, is there another time I can come back? I said, come next week. So he's here today.
My boyfriend named Isaac. I met him through an interview I had about 6 months ago, and then he had a personal situation about a month ago. We reconnected, and I thought, hey, let's bring him tonight. And we had a KT with him last Monday. Yes, we had it Monday, so he's here tonight. Good job.
I recruited a guy last week, and he decided that he wanted to go to the Air Force. So I was just communicating with him, and he actually referred me to this girl. I called her up last night, find out what she was doing, tell her a little bit what we were doing, and brought her out tonight.
Chance. I have a friend next door. Josh actually spoke to her a couple months ago. She just came up from Florida, the office in Florida, with a little team far away from her. She came back a couple days ago, and yeah, so she's here.
All right.
like, how do you have time when you're always so busy? So he's like, I want to come, so he's here today.
Okay.
So my guest is a recruiter recruit. He's a solid partner, but I just want to make sure he came and saw our environment at the time. So his name's Michael. He's in banking, and it's his first time here.
This evening, my name is Marilyn. This evening I have Miki, who is a mom that I had met at the bus stop while I was waiting here with my kids. We had scheduled an interview, did the interview. She was excited about the company, but she did not complete her IDA at the time. But I saw her today at the open house, and we talked about the opportunity again, and she was willing to come out this evening and get started.
Kids, man. My daughter's giving me probably 10 numbers over the past 2 weeks. Open house, I got 2. Yes. 1. Anybody else with 1, 2? Donald?
Donald. Donald. I got Sabrina out. I prospected her about a month and a half ago. Just kept following up. She's a nurse. She brought her sister. She's also a nurse. So they both back here.
Hey guys, I'm Josh. So I met a young man in Robex when I was getting a smoothie. Got him out to a interview, and I recruited him. This is his first time back there, and I had him bring. We got somebody off the list, and it's a close friend of his that I actually already knew before I met him. So it's all Herndon people. So. Getting a whole bunch of Herndon people out
All up in your market, Bosh. Come on, man.
2. Anybody else with 2? 3? Oh, y'all making me scared. It's probably maybe 4. Anyone more than 4? All right, who am I bringing up? All right, give it up for Samir.
My goal for when people come to training, especially when I'm training, is someone told me this a long time ago, because I used to come up and I used to just kind of rant and rave, and I used to be super intense and just kind of almost make people feel bad. The intensity when I was younger and doing Primerica, it was just You know, not everybody could handle it. And then someone told me, they said, when you talk, probably Hector said this or whatever, understand, yeah, we sell, we hire people, we don't get paid right away, you have to pay for a license, completely normal, they're more accepting and they can kind of move, right? So I put that stuff together today and hopefully, you know, we can get through all the points because it is a bunch of points, but when you come here, man, I put time in this, take good notes, learn. You know, a girl texted me this morning, you know, I had recruited her a couple months ago and I got her to go to class and, you know, she couldn't come to meetings because she was really busy and I've just been putting up with everything, you know, just to kind of ease her in. And finally today she told me as she was scheduling the exam, she goes, you know, I'm ready to take the test and I'm hesitant to schedule because I just don't think I can do this. Right now I have a job and graduate school starts next week, and I just don't think I'm going to have time, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, where are you going to, is graduate school the answer? Is you spending $40,000, $50,000, you know, in the next 2 years? Is that the answer? Is that the answer? Are those the stories you hear? Yeah, I went to graduate school and I got a job with this company and now I'm free and I'm so excited and I have all these opportunities and I'm living the dream life. I've never heard that story before. Where are you going to go where someone comes and they teach you how to think, how to act, right? From a business standpoint, what to look for, how to be opportunity-minded, how to set goals, how to be a positive person, how to be attractive to people, how to build something, how to be profitable, how to invest in yourself so you can raise your earning potential. And it's not someone else deciding, but it's you deciding. Where are you going to go? It's hard to survive in this area, in this country, and 99% of people's problems can be solved by what? Writing a check, but they don't know how to make money. And graduate school is not going to be the answer. It's not about formal education, it's about what? Self-education. It's about self-education. Maybe Josh chooses, I don't want to go to college, but if he reads a book a month for the next 5 years, you can't tell me someone 60 books in is uneducated because they don't have a piece of paper. We believe in self-education. You come here, you educate yourself, but some people just come to the meeting because I tell them to. What do we always say? It's not about getting through the meeting, right? It's about getting from the meeting. What can you get today? What can you get today from the meeting? How can it change your thinking? How can it change your behavior? How can it change your expectations? That's what we're going to talk about today. I had a conversation with Josh earlier, and I thought that a lot of people can benefit from this conversation. I'm going to fly through it so I can get to the actual training. But, you know, what we talked about today was about prospecting, okay? And there's different ways to prospect. You know, people say, well, what do you guys do here at Primerica? If I was really going to be honest, some people can't handle too much honesty right away, but our job description is prospecting. That's what we do. Without prospects, you got nothing, right? You got to be a prospector. But there's different ways of prospecting. If I say prospecting to one person, they say that's walking around the mall. If I say prospecting to Elsa, she's thinking, who at church have I not talked to yet? Does that make sense? No, why not? And that is what we want you to think. There's different types of prospecting. Some types of prospecting are very inefficient versus other types of prospecting can be way more efficient. It doesn't make one right or wrong. I don't like people who look down at certain types of prospecting. If someone doesn't have appointments, I'd rather them knock doors and get 0 results, right? Or maybe even one positive result, a maybe, than sitting at home and watching, you know, whatever people watch on TV. 100% of the time. So prospecting in the cold market, it allows you to utilize, you know, your time properly in a time where there may be nothing else to do. Some people have gotten prospects at midnight, in a Walmart, whatever. Hey, what else are you going to do at midnight? If you want to work, you can put in work. There's always work that can be put in. But that being said, what are the different, you know, when I've gone around the company and I've met all these leaders, how are they building their businesses? How are they prospecting? Where are they prospecting? How can you be more efficient in your prospecting? How can you be more efficient in your approach? And I talked to Josh about this. One of the things that I told him was I said that, you know, when you have a job, your job, although we beat down jobs, and I just beat down, you know, the opportunity of being an employee and all that, but it becomes a major place to prospect. Now, you don't want to do it inappropriately where you put your job at risk, but, you know, when you Listen, Primerica people, we hire good people. We don't hire salespeople and teach them to be good people. We hire good people and teach them sales and business. Does that make sense? So when people get, most of the people that we hire, when people get repeated exposure to us, it's really hard for them to resist what we're offering because it makes sense. You can make a lot of money part-time. You can educate yourself so you can do better financially. You can educate others. You can help others. You can potentially work for yourself and build your own business. And by the way, this is the best way to invest for the lowest cost possible and get the highest rate of return, and this is the best type of insurance. I mean, what we say is very compelling, but when you say it to somebody in an environment where you've never met them before, you're never going to see them again, and they have to give you an answer, you know, in 30 seconds, hey, I've done it before. I've gotten superstars doing that before. So it does work, but is that the only method that you should be using in, you know, the only environment you should be doing it in? Absolutely not. Right? So where can I prospect? I live in a high rise, right? And there's different concierge people that work at the front desk. They see, you know, I live there. You know, I know that a lot of people now, I was doing it for years, BNI and all that. I see that's a new thing now. People are, what is BNI? Business Networking International. You go and you see the same people after, you know, after 10 weeks of seeing the same people, everyone kind of becomes an acquaintance and maybe some of them become friends. And again, we have a very compelling opportunity and product lineup where most of them will become your clients. But we have to put ourselves in a position where we can have that repeated exposure. What sports do you enjoy? What can you join? Maybe Josh should do flag football on a Saturday. Not on a Tuesday night, Thursday night, all that, right? Not a bowling league where you have to be there, you know, 6 p.m. three nights a week. That's not what I'm talking about. Never to hinder your business, but if you can join a league with something that you enjoy, of people that have, you know, a common interest in, you have to arrange your life that way for the purposes of growing your business. Maybe it's a gym, maybe it's a team. I had a woman on my team that is now a very successful RVP. She gave birth to and raised 3 kids while in Primerica, under mom, right? And I remember when she had her first kid, she started joining moms groups. So she's a mom, she has other, you know, she joins a group with other moms that have babies, they do baby boot camps, they do baby this and that, whatever they did. All of those people became clients. Why? Because we have a very compelling opportunity and product lineup. I remember Elsa, her very first client from the moms group, I was supposed to go, and again, BNI is 600, 500, right? A gym is, a good one is 80 a month, and Shaq and I pay 200 a month, right? Gold Gym is 50 a month. Okay, now, is it smart for 3 of you to join the same gym? No, that's stupid. Find your own territory. Find your own network. Find your own, right? That's really, is it cool for you guys to hire each other at the same restaurant and all work together? No, very dumb, because you're on each other's toes, right? But what can you do in your life? It's not, you know, hermits, to be a hermit, I'm a recluse to some extent too. I enjoy my time by myself. I have no problem. I'm not a lonely person. I can sit at home for days. I go to nice restaurants. I eat by myself all the time. You know, I'm not self-conscious about that. I'm not insecure about that. I don't care what people think. But at the end of the day, is that growing my business? No, it's not. It's not. So no one cares about what your personality is or what makes you comfortable. It's not about that. What are you going to do to grow your business? And I'm telling you, man, you put yourself in a position where you see the same people a few times in a row, Primerica can work magic for you. Magic for you.
I was going to suggest what people who are worried about the outlay is joining something where you volunteer. You know, they're always looking for volunteers, and you can go on your own schedule when you need to show up.
Yeah, and this is great because I've never done anything like that before, but I know that stuff exists. Volunteer. What kind of volunteer work can they do?
Well, like any church would need, you know, people who are going to do, like there's soup kitchens around, there's also youth groups that they, you know, they might have to do a background check, so who hasn't done one here?
I read a book at the end of the year last year, and it's one of the things I wrote down. They said that, you know, number one, donate money, because they said that if you want to get rich, you have to feel rich, and rich people donate. Okay? But when you donate, whatever group it is that you're donating to, join that group. Join that cause. Meet the people that are there, and you'll realize that there's a lot of other successful people that also have money, and people that have money know about opportunities and have great ideas. I want to be around people that have ideas, that are opportunity-minded. You know, me and Shaq went to LA, Orange County, over the last 5 days. 2 days we're at a conference in LA, 3 days we were just kind of hanging out. And I was telling him about my cousin I was hanging out with in California. This guy doesn't leave he doesn't have to leave his bed, and he makes $200 grand a year, maybe $250, because of the ideas that he comes up with. People in California are like this. They're all idea-minded. And it just like blew my mind, all the different things that he taught me, all the different ideas, all the things, artificial intelligence and technology and currencies and where the world is going. And that's the kind of people I want to be around. Not, my boss sucks, how is yours? That doesn't stimulate my activity. Right? So, what can we do in our life to make more friends? All right, so let's bring this up. Don't wait till all lights are green. This is some of you. This is some of our friends. This is some of the people we're trying to recruit. Another reason many people are not successful as they would be is fear. Often the fear of making mistakes or the fear of failing. There's another reason, also a fear, but it appears a little differently. These people disguise their fears by being perfectionists. They are waiting for all the stars to line up before starting their business. They want all the lights to be green before they will pull out of the driveway. When it comes to entrepreneurship, many of these people are still stuck in the driveway with their engine idling. That's 90% of people that don't join our business, right? This is pretty good. 3 parts of a business. One of the best entrepreneurs I've ever known is a friend and business partner of mine. I have formed several companies with him. 3 that went public and made us multi-millions. In describing what an entrepreneur does, he says, there are 3 parts to putting a business deal together, Shaq. 1 is finding the right people, 2 is finding the right opportunity, and 3 is finding the money. He also said, rarely do all 3 pieces come together at the same time. Sometimes you have the people, but you don't have the deal or the money. That's how me and my friends were growing up. We always used to talk about opportunities. When we didn't have an opportunity, we definitely didn't have money. Sometimes you have the money, but no deal or people. The most important job of an entrepreneur is to grab one piece and then to begin to put the other 2 pieces together. Now, lucky for us, we don't need money to start Primerica. We don't need money to invest in Primerica. We don't have a lot of upfront capital. But we are giving you the opportunity. Can you assemble the team? He's saying that's the main job of an entrepreneur. Most people are saying, well, if you give me the money and you give me all the people, have you ever interviewed somebody like that? Right? Are you going to find that people just kind of put me on top of the team? No, you assemble the team. That's the freaking job of the entrepreneur. Even when you buy a franchise, we talked about it last time, people invest $200,000–300,000 in a franchise. Do they say, here are all your employees? No, you interview them. You have to, you know, go on job websites and interview people and hire them and train them and develop them. And, you know, in the first month, 50–60% of them are going to leave you or you're going to fire them and then you find other people. That's your job as an entrepreneur. But what happens? We come from an employee environment and this stuff is foreign to us when we say build your team. Got the clicker or are you just gonna
check it. Next to the
well, I forgot to put ammunition since I'm coming. Shaq got me sick.
Hey, we're in the West Coast, man. Lane's fruit nuts.
What traits do we need to change? Based on the research I've done, the articles I've read, right? This is what they're saying. These are the things that we need to change. We need to change our philosophy from security to freedom. Are you still asking, what's the salary? What's guaranteed? Or are you saying, hey, what are the top people making? What's the most that someone's made in their first year? That's freedom. How many people can I hire? How many locations can I have? How many licensed agents can I have? How soon can I go regional vice president? That is freedom, not security. Are you still asking, what are the benefits? That's security. I'm telling you, this is common knowledge. This isn't Primerica. This is common knowledge. You have stuff that you have to change in your mind. This is one of my favorite ones. You have to have the ability to operate without money. That's what the books are saying. It's easy to operate when all the money's in the business account, all the money's in the checking account, or someone's giving you money every 2 weeks no matter what. Can you operate without money? Can you operate emotionally? Can you still be excited? Can you still be positive? This is a freaking big one. I see people, they don't have the emotional intelligence when money goes up and down. Their attitude goes up and down as the money goes up and down. You have to get better at that. I'm not saying that this is something that's innate. I'm saying this is something you have to expect from yourself, get better, develop that within yourself. What was it, the first office that you got on your own? It was that big office off Herndon Parkway, right? How much was the rent there? Huh?
$5,500.
I mean, it was $6,000 a month, our very first office by ourselves. Looking back, it was one of the stupidest decisions we could have ever made. I mean, that's, you look at it, that's a, you know, like a $240,000 commitment over 3 years from your business. You know? And there'd be times we didn't know how we were going to pay that rent. You know, one time there was such a huge snowstorm, everything was shut down for 2 weeks. Well, you know how the plow comes? Who do you think pays for that? Oh, the building, your corporation? No, no, no. What happens is those costs get divided up based on how much square footage you have, and then they hand you a bill. It's called CAM, Common Area Maintenance. That's a common area. The owner's not going to pay, the tenants pay. And you got a bill of how much? $8,000. On top of your rent, here's an extra $8,000 that you owe because of the snowstorm. By the way, were we making tons of money during the snowstorm? No, we're freaking in our houses. What does that mean? Shaq's down in the dumps. Everybody knows. He's telling everyone that he talks to, oh, did you hear what happened? The snowstorm, I got stuck with the bill. No, we dealt with it behind the scenes. This is a trait of an entrepreneur. Ability to operate without security. Can you operate, show up, do what you need to do, make those calls, keep going on appointments, deal with the disappointment, not get too high, not get too low, knowing that, sometimes you don't know where the next dollar is going to come from. I'm just telling you what the books say, and this is stuff I've experienced in my own life. If you listen to that big hitter call, Shaq had me listen to a replay while we were in California, what did Neil Gerfine say? He said, hey man, people, they got to go through that agony. He didn't say, yeah, you got to go through some adversity. He said, man, people, they got to go through the agony of building. That's what makes you who you are. That's why I don't feel sorry for people. Everything you're going to go through, number one, it's going to be totally worth it. Number two, we all won't do it. Ability to focus on opportunity versus resources. Man, you have the opportunity to recruit. But you're thinking, oh, but I don't know anybody. Focus on the opportunity. You have the opportunity to go regional vice president. Oh, but you're not an extrovert. Don't worry. Don't worry about who you know and where they are and where you're going to find them. Just focus on the opportunity. People say, well, I only have this and I only have that. I can only do this. No, you're focusing on the resources. This is logical, but that's not the way it works. Entrepreneurs focus on the opportunity. Not one person in my business came from my warm market when I went RVP. Everyone that I had, all 100 licenses, not one person I had known before. Where do these people come from? Because if I had focused on resources, I had none. I focused on what? The opportunity, and I went and made it happen. This is a huge shift in your thinking. Having different management styles to manage different people. You guys see the way I manage Josh, Reagan, some of these young guys? I don't manage Winnie that way. People respond different. They come from different backgrounds. They have different environments. You can't use the same management style on everybody. This is what they say about business owners. You have to have that trait. So you got to teach, act differently with people. Coach people differently. Ability to manage people and resources they don't control. We can't control our clients. I can't control your clients. I can't even control you. You're not my employee. I'm not paying you. The company pays you when you produce. I have to manage a bunch of people that I cannot control and the clients that I can't control either. That's a skill, a trait of an entrepreneur. That's what happens is like people come and they say, oh yeah, I've been in management forever. What does that mean? People had to listen to you because you were their manager. It's very different here. Can you manage things you don't control? Team-oriented versus pay or promotion-oriented. People, they'll do things at their job for more pay. Here, it's team-oriented. When you go into small businesses, they run it like a little sports team. It's not like a corporate culture. I love this. You have to develop this trait. You have to be an active learner. Is your cup full or is it empty? I need that cup empty so I can keep pouring inside you, so I can teach you. It's hard to teach other people to specialize. I want to generalize, right? I want to know a lot, right? A little about a lot of things. I don't want to know everything about one thing. That's what a surgeon does. That's what an attorney does. That's what a dentist does. People get caught up in one of the products, in one of the aspects of the business. The courage to be responsible for the entire business. What do you think? When my mentors come to me, Bruce says, oh, you're licensing, I'm going to say, oh, well, honestly, it's because Josh, he recruits all these young people, they don't get well, you think he cares? It's my responsibility. It's because of me. It's my fault the licensing isn't there. It's my fault we don't have enough people in the meeting. It's my fault the premium isn't there. It's my fault that the cash flow is down. Do you have the courage to take on that responsibility? That's not just Primerica, that's every business. What are the shifts in philosophy? What time should you get me done? What are the shifts in philosophies? Right, we talked about this a little bit. A desire for security to a desire for freedom. You gotta stop seeing, I'm being for real, man. You gotta stop seeing the positives of security and see the negatives. The negative is that, yeah, you're gonna get that 80 grand a year, but the positive is you're gonna get that 80 grand a year. The negative is you're not gonna get the 200. And it comes with a boss. And it comes with the potential of, layoffs and no ownership. And sometimes people talking down to you, right? You gotta have a desire for freedom. That's what we look for. Freedom-based thinking. I asked my cousin, I said, you're not into cars, you're not into clothes, you're not into spending, you're not into eating. I mean, why are you so motivated to think of new ideas and make more money? And he said, freedom. I just want freedom. And when a new idea comes, I want to be able to write a check for that new idea, invest in a new idea, and not have money be a problem. A desire from a desire for a steady paycheck to the desire of great wealth. Right? That's one thing, man. When you go to California, the wealth is staggering. You see, I FaceTimed some of you guys when I was in Malibu, like those houses, $30 million. Do you know? Like, I think the property taxes on those homes are $500,000 a year. What if your property taxes were $40,000 a month, not just the mortgage? 1.5%. Like, what story is that? Who is in there? What did they have to do? And then it's just like, man, that's not even probably their main house. The cars we saw, the things we saw, the places we went, the people, it's just, do you have that desire, or do you think, oh, it's not for me? People, man, these kids, they can't wait to go out and get that first salary out of college. They have a desire for a steady paycheck. You gotta have a desire for great wealth. You can have more, but you gotta become more. That's what we say, right? Jim Rohn says that. From seeing value in dependence versus independence. You got to see value in independence. There are people out there, maybe some people in here, you like, what Winnie brought someone to the office and she was like, look, this is not for me. You guys kind of do whatever you want and come wherever. I'm a structured person. I need to be told when to come in and when to leave and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, nice meeting you. Because I'm looking for someone who wants to be independent. Independent. Putting what you want into the hours. Working as many hours as you want. Making as much money as you want to earn. Getting as good as you can get. To make my own rules versus obeying someone else's. Who doesn't have this these days? You want to give orders versus take orders. Now, we don't give orders here, but, if you're not here, And you're not running your own business, you're taking orders. You have to have a willingness to be fully responsible versus saying, it's not my job. That's what happens, right? At a job?
Yep.
Oh, that's not part of my job.
Yep.
What can get better here? Can our presentation get better? Can our environment get better? Can our office get better? What can take responsibility for everything? Shaq and I, we brainstorm about all this stuff. Do you want to create a culture or you want to fit into a company's culture? Create a culture. Right? Linda, you work at your, for a boss right now, you're opening up your own spa. Your boss has a certain culture. How you guys act, how you guys treat customers, how you talk to each other, how positive you are, what time you come in, what things are important, right? What the incentives are when you do well. When you have your own business, you are going to create your own culture. When you have your own Primerica office, you create your own culture. Shaq and I decided a long time ago, we want to run our office like a sports team. Sports themes, performance-based, top producers, everything incentive-based, sports analogies. That's the culture we created. I know other people, their meetings, they have, piano music in the background. Very different. That's their culture. When we went to Willie's meeting, they had TVs all over the office. They had 80s music. Hadn't heard it in a long time, right? And they had the actual music video. That's their culture. This is, I don't want to get, but to make a difference in the world rather than complain about the problems of a world. That's how an entrepreneur thinks. That's what's great about being around idea people, because all the ideas are about improving. Solve a problem, make a difference. What a life! Or you just show up every day and sit at rest. What's the philosophy of business owners, right? Of entrepreneurs? Finding problems and turning it into a business opportunity. People's incomes aren't growing. People have to take too much time away to make a decent amount of money part-time. No one knows anything about money management. We've taken that problem and we turned it into a business opportunity. You got to ask yourself, what helps people more? Our financial needs analysis, buy term invested difference, our financial education, or giving people an opportunity? Helping them think like an owner, believing in people, giving them an opportunity to run their own business. Really, I don't know which one is more. Probably the business opportunity. Matter of fact, it is the business opportunity. Think about that. When you go in and you see, and I got this from Bill Render, he said, when you go in and you see someone having a whole life policy, you're like, there's no freaking way I'm letting them have this whole life policy. There's no way they're not buying a term from me. You're not going to leave until it happens. But why aren't we like that when someone has a job? Oh, they're fine, they have a job. What if you had that same belief with someone that had a job? Like, you got to see what we're doing. You got to try to be an entrepreneur. You got to come to one of these meetings. Think about that. And obviously the shift is you choose to be an entrepreneur. And when you choose all those things, right? When you choose to be an entrepreneur, you know what comes with it. You may notice that farmers, possibly our earliest entrepreneurs, have to develop most of these traits in order to survive as farmers. Most had to plant in the spring in order to harvest in the fall. Most had to pray the weather was in their favor and that pests, diseases, insects left enough for the farmer's family to live on through a long, hard winter. Right? You have to have the mindset and toughness of a farmer if you want to be a great entrepreneur. You know, all of this, all the success here starts with how you think. And how you think is affected by the people that you spend time with, the media that you consume, and the books that you read. And if you can work on your thinking, it's amazing what opportunities will appear around you, right? And that's one of the gifts that this company gave me, because they forced me through the leadership and the meetings to be around people that were very unlike any of my friends. They told me what media to consume, the CDs, the audios that are in the back, and they gave me the books that they read to help them get to where they wanted to go. You can do the same thing. You are a blank canvas, and you can put everything inside of you that you need to become whoever you want to become, right? And our job is just to put examples of people like that, whether ourselves or the leadership that we bring in every few months or our own mentors, so you can have an example of what the finished, the end result could potentially be for yourself and for your life, right? So we have 1 week left for month end, a week from tomorrow. You need 2 recruits for how many bonus points? 50,000. So you need 2 IBAs, right? 2 IBAs. If you're thinking to yourself, like, well, I'm not in, I don't have to, it never is too early to start being competitive and to start holding yourself to a standard, right? Like, let me break that down. Let me, Omar, not get 2 recruits because I'm not in the running for Hawaii. That's for bonus points. And Herndon, I'm not going to qualify to win the trip anyways for whatever reason you think that. But then, what is your standard if you're not getting 2 recruits? What are you saying to yourself? You're not even worth that. You can't even do that. These are minimums. You should do it. Get in the habit of hitting these incentives, these minimums, so that you put yourself in a position where you can compete. And then you know what happens after one contest ends? Another one starts. Yep. Maybe the 2 recruits, you go out and push yourself. These 2 people, by the time January comes around, they're your superstars that get you to the next trip. Which every trip that they take us to is like paradise. What other incentives do we have? 1,500. Country club, right? 1,500 a premium by month end. Country club. I think that started on the 14th. 1,500 a premium. Christian Davis Country Club. Been there before. Awesome. See how these guys live. See how they eat. See who they hang around. He lives at this place. So we got a Hawaii trip. We got the 1,500, right? We got the 2 IBAs. Month end coming up. A lot of good things going on.
If you don't mind indulging a little bit about how that affected you, your friends that you were talking to, the ideas. Could you elaborate a little bit, maybe give an example or 2 about some of the ideas that you shared with you, or
No, it's not really relevant, except for the fact that we weren't talking about stupid stuff, right? It just, when I read a book one time, it said that one of the main things as far as human beings and us being happy is our outlook. And if you feel like something out there that's coming is positive, it makes you happier. And the problem is when you're 30 years old and they tell you you're not going to retire until you're 60 and you're going to be pretty much making the same amount of money, the outlook isn't great, right? But when I have conversations with these guys about $1 million businesses, $1 million ideas, and what if we create a website that did this, I'm not going to do any of it, but just being around people that are thinking like this, it just stimulates your mind and it gives you a more positive outlook. Right? And it also helps you relate that there's other people out there that aren't just sitting behind a desk. There's people that are thinking and developing and taking risks with their money and failing and trying again and things like that. So yeah.
With like people like Christian Davis and some of this, I've actually been thinking about like what does their not just a day in the life, but like a week in the life look like when you're that wealthy. I mean it's fun to think, oh, let's go on a yacht trip over to the Adriatic or whatever. But literally, day after day after day, I mean, boring stuff. I can't imagine, but I mean.
Well, this is what we're, wealthy people, they take advantage of their life, and you can have a more satisfying life. Like, a good life is defined by some, my favorite philosophers as the number of experiences you had and the intensity of those experiences, right? So there's a difference between me going to my rooftop and me saying, hey, I've always wanted to live in this building, in this area, and now I get to watch this freaking beautiful sunset, and then me being on a boat in Hawaii on a sunset cruise, with people around me that I care about. That's a more intense experience, but then again, how often is it happening, right? So when you're wealthy, you get to experience all the great things in the world with the people that you want to experience it with, and there's no time frame, and it's not the end of a vacation, and you don't have to be back somewhere, and you don't have an alarm that tells you when to wake up. I mean, it's just total freedom to have the highest quality of life possible, and it's amazing. But then there's another aspect that Primerica adds to it, which is just not like, well, I've reached this level and now I'm here and everyone else is down there. It's, I see the Primerica leaders, they're constantly communicating with their people, because a different level of satisfaction, another layer, is bringing people up to that level, right? So Bruce can help me get to that lifestyle. That's another layer of satisfaction that he gets. Yeah? All right, guys, team on 3. 1, 2, 3. You got this? Oh, yes, I have
Oh, you about to act a fool. She didn't know that before you came from Stanford. That's the excuse they give. You're not going to come from Stanford. Yeah, it makes sense. Stanford is like an hour and some change.
I work.
She got to stand. I got you, didn't I just wanted to share some It's so funny. So there's a excuse me.
Oh yeah.
Dr. Tran. How long does it take when I'm not back on, my 6 months of footage haven't edited yet. A couple of days. I mean, I can rush it. I can skip it to the head. I can skip it to the front of the line if you want me to. Oh yeah. Like I'll work on that tonight. Hopefully by Sunday. Yep. Of course.
Let's try out this fall. That's so much fun.
That was calling, but you know what? I realized she even didn't know. Maybe the problem that I have was you know what? I think something is wrong. I must have it like
Are you serious? Maybe they'll let y'all bring a plus one.
Peter,
I got that. You gotta go, you said she worked, you gotta go online, use your laptop. I went in and I was like, this is nice, you know what I mean?
maybe. Yeah, you're wrong.
No, it's not. It's on there. You just been here yesterday, or day before yesterday.
One team that
When did we do your call? Yesterday. The day before yesterday. It's not under my account. It's not your account. All the way down. And then you'll see it.